Hello everyone, I am RSV and this is a comprehensive guide to should you play the Retem update of Pso2 Ngs. This video will be divided into 3 categories and a few universal reasons not to play the game, so if you want to know the answer sooner, check the category that suits you. Otherwise, let's begin. We'll start with a few universal reasons not to play the Retem update. The first one being if you are Anakin Skywalker. Do you hate sand? New players. New players probably have the best chance at a good experience with the game as it is right now. Pso2 is separated into base game and NGS. New players might struggle with base game's grind a tad, however, if you can get 3 other people to play base game with you, you should be relatively fine to do every content point in the game, and it should be an amazing experience, as base game is just meant to be played with a group of people. The base game content loop to get best in slot requires the player to grind many things, and if you like grinding for long periods of time, base game is for you. Base game also has a PvP system, however. You will have to set this up. With other players, you need 12 people to start a ranked match, however there is also a private lobby. As for NGS, you'll be forced to play NGS somewhat for shop passes. You probably don't need them per se. However, if you enjoy the market game or get a rare drop you wish to sell, you'll have to obtain one this way. NGS itself, and to some extent base game, are pay to win in nature. Thankfully, in base game especially, you are not really winning anything by spending, you are just decreasing your playtime by doing so. In NGS, however, it is a bit more complicated. You will not have enough resources to get or do everything you want to do. This was the same in base game before NGS dropped to a degree, however, more so in NGS. You will be forced to decide between fashion and gear. While you can grind out augments and pieces, it is possible fixer augments will refuse to drop for you. Thankfully, there is a fixer migration system that will let you use units and weapons that don't have a fixer augment yet. However, if you have the min-max mentality, getting a fixer 5 will still be a rough experience. However, both base and NGS are heavy on fashion and creativity. If you like having a sandbox to customize your dream character, Pso2 is one of the best games to do this. There are literally hundreds of different outfits, parts, and accessories for you to choose from. Not all are currently available but may come back in the future too. 98% of all cosmetics are purchasable from the player shop. You do not need premium, a shop pass, or premium currency to buy from the shop, and you only need the first 2 to sell in the shop. The game also has a very casual content loop for NGS currently, meaning earning Meseta is fairly easy. For the base game it is a bit more complicated, however, once you are a higher level, the Cradle of Darkness will open up to you, and you will be able to grind X cubes for fun points and Meseta to buy things you want. TLDR for new players. Reasons you should play NGS. If you don't mind pay to win overtones, that can be ignored. If you like customizing your character and want a sandbox for this. If you don't have a lot of time for larger games. If you like action combat that feels fluid and have more mobility than other games. If you have a group of friends to play base game with. Here are some reasons not to play NGS as a new player. If you hate pay to win games. If you have a computer with a processor older than i2, you will not be able to play the game. If you like PvP, there is no PvP in NGS. There is PvP in base game, however, as I have said, finding a match will be challenging without setting up with 11 other people. If you get annoyed by bugs and glitches to an extreme degree, I have heard the game can be quite buggy at times, resulting in disconnects and crashes. I personally haven't experienced it, however, and I am always online. Returning players. If you are a returning player, whether you should come back or not depends on your reason for leaving in the first place. So, I will list a series of reasons and suggest to you if you should return or not. We will start with the reasons for leaving that suggest you should give NGS a go again. If you left because of the massive amount of lag at the start, I recommend trying the game again. The game has since stabilized and should be enjoyable for everyone. If you left because of bots. There was a large ban wave that banned a lot of the bot problem. I personally haven't seen a bot since the ban wave, to the point I'm actually unsure if there are still bots on my ship or not. If you left because you ran out of content to do and enjoyed it, this one's a no-brainer, new patch, new content. If your reason for leaving was class-based, You should return to the game to see if your class updates have improved the class enough for your liking. I can't guarantee satisfaction here. And I will note, if you are a Luster main or Summoner main and refuse to come back till they are in, well, I have bad news for you. They will not be out until after the region after Retem, at a minimum. If your reason for leaving was a lack of content, I suggest coming back to see if the game has improved any. I will be doing a video on this during the patch, so if you do not wish to reinstall the game, you can always subscribe to me with the bell icon on for notifications for when that video drops. Otherwise, onto reasons you should not come back to the game. If you left NGS because NGS is not base game, I'm sorry to say that NGS probably still isn't base game and probably never will be. Your classes will get more complete as the game updates, but I can't say much else in terms of this. I think you should come see if the game is improving for yourself, but I personally don't think the quirkiness of base game is there anymore. This one is variable, and depends on how you feel about the story. If you left because the story is bad, I don't think it will improve much. The lip syncing in the preview seemed lazy, but it may be fixed for the release. And the entire patch starts off with the two protagonists, minus the player protagonist, making incredibly memeable comments about a giant worm. So, not a good start, I think. If you absolutely refuse to play without Gunblade in the game and can't settle for dual Gunblades with a Soaring Blade / TMG combo, if you think that this is unviable, I can stress that there actually isn't much of a damage difference in terms of augments currently, and we probably will be getting more augments that support multi-weapon building. If you want to be a Pokemon master, I'm sorry, your time is not now. Stick with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Hopefully Magnificent Platinum will be out soon. Name is not official, obviously. If you honestly dislike Pso2, the game won't magically be better for you. Otherwise, Sega is still being Sega, so if that is your reason, then keep being you, boo. Current players. A lot of current players are already locked in and highly excited for the update. If you are still a current player like myself, you will get great enjoyment out of the game. So the point ends up shifting from should you play Retem to is Retem going to be a better experience for the current player? The answer is most certainly yes. If you have played base game and NGS and still enjoy the content loop, the Retem update is more of the same, with new toys to play with. That said, I think it is still reasonable to want more out of the game currently, and until the Retem update drops, we should collectively keep pushing the Sega team to improve their game, and get their acts together on that matter, so everyone stays on the same page if things in Retem aren't ideal yet. It is important to remain critical of the game state in all situations, even if it looks like Sega is listening to us, as we as a community need to keep Sega listening to us if we want the game to continue to improve if it needs to. This isn't beating a dead horse, it is a horse that will continue to fight until the game is improved. People that complain about something love it a lot, especially when it comes to games and the people who complain about Pso2. And in this case, people just want to see their favourite game in a state that is enjoyed by everyone, and currently that isn't the case, so they complain away. This has been my video on should you play Pso2 NGS. I hope it was helpful to you. If you like my content or want updates on the state of Pso2, I will be doing health checks on every major patch. You should consider subscribing, otherwise, to leave a like and ring the bell icon to be notified of all my content. Doing all this helps me out tremendously and I can't thank you enough. I have been RSV, and I will see you next time. I'll also mention that I will be streaming the Retem update when it drops on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that. I drop these videos around the same time every day and will be streaming directly after I drop my video on the Retem launch day. If not prior to that, there will be more updates on this soon.